DC Multiverse!
Well, here's one that if you're a longtime Superman fan, you should be fairly excited for. The McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack. When I first saw the images for these show up online, I was like, oh snap! These guys look fantastic. The box art is to be expected. Black, white, and blue. Great big window on the front, the side, simply saying Superman vs. Doomsday. And with the back of the packaging having two separate pieces of artwork to symbolize each character. The classic cover from Superman issue number 75, and the other from one of the classic covers from the Reign of Doomsday. All out of the package, you have Superman and Doomsday each coming with an action figure base, a trading card, and Superman has an extra pair of flight hands. And just before we go any further and look at each figure individually, starting with Doomsday, I just want to say, my God, seeing these two standing next to each other is a classic sight for sore eyes. So looking at Doomsday individually, dude, I mean, this is a fantastic rendition of the character. Clearly, this is absolutely based off of his appearance in Reign of Doomsday. One thing that you might be wondering is how many reused parts is involved with this Doomsday figure, and I gotta tell you, not as many as it may look at first glance. Clearly the feet, and the shins, and the legs, just the hole from the waist down is completely new. While I do think that the abdomen area has been reused from Doomsbat, I know that the chest and the spikes on the shoulders, of course the head sculpt, well clearly they haven't been reused. Now the forearms have, although they have reworked the spikes, the spiny protrusions that stick out of his forearms. And of course, the fists have been reused. In other words, there's actually a fair amount of new tooling that goes into this figure. And then as for the head sculpt, I've actually taken it off so we can get a better look at it. Yeah, it's good. I mean, my favorite iteration of Doomsday as far as head sculpts go is the original classic look. But this one actually looks pretty good, pretty close to the source material of the Reign of Doomsday. This is not something that looks entirely terrible. The paint applications, I couldn't say whether or not they're really tidy or not because it's that dry brush technique, and that generally is a little messy. If I'm being honest, I would probably repaint the face. Oh wait, I did. And the entire figure. Here's the vanilla version of the box, and here is what I did. Here is my touch-up with the paint to try to give him a little bit more of the comic-esque look that I prefer. But yeah, fantastic head sculpt. A lot of people aren't too big of a fan of the gigantic ponytail on top of his head, and I'm actually okay with it. It doesn't look bad to me, so, you know, no real complaints there. Another thing that people have been reporting, and I've encountered too with this figure that's not such a great thing, is the fact that a lot of people are reporting he's wiggly out of the box, and this one's actually not too bad. This one's actually pretty tight. As for comparisons, well, you've already seen him next to Doomsbat, but look, the Mattel DC Universe Classics / Signature Collection version. And then the Storm Collectibles, well, he wants to get in on the game, and honestly, even though the Storm Collectibles is more money, I don't think it holds a candle to this figure. We have the DC Direct version. That is a classic. Of course, we have the classic DC Icons version that just looks fantacular. What? Fantacular? Is that a word? I made up a word. And then, of course, the way too small DC Superheroes version of Doomsday. Now, if you're wondering how articulated Doomsday is, let's find out together. I don't imagine he will be that bad, actually. Waist and torso, I'm happy with that. His noodle is on that big ball joint with quite a bit of range of motion. He can open his mouth all the way so he could eat a whole plate of spaghetti. He's got the sockets right here. Some people call those a butterfly. That's not a joint. It's not a butterfly joint. It's just filler. Look. That's just filler. It doesn't add to the articulation at all. It's not actually a butterfly. Let's pop it. Wow, that is a tight asshole. All right. Wait, that's not what I meant. Then you got the rounded hinge. He's got the spiky doos. Oh, I just pulled that arm off by mistake. Well, ain't that a thing? Oh, and that is a second tight hole. Well, at least we know that they're going to be in there reasonably well. It came off because I pushed too hard, because those spikes get in the way. So that's my bad. That's my bad. I should have known that you can only go up so far. And I know that there will be those of you at home that go, that sucks. But he can do this. He can put his arms up in the air and look like he's cheering for his favorite football team. So I suppose that's a thing. He's got a 360 swivel here. Oh, and I should point out also, this is the only thing that they should have really resculpted these shoulder / biceps to get rid of this from Doomsday. I never mentioned that before. Anyway, that elbow articulation not only goes around and round 360 in place of a bicep swivel, but it also goes up about that and above. And then you have the wrist on that big old hinge. And of course, it's also gonna twist. And that's, oh boy. I do kind of wish the fist had more, but not really complaining. And then from the waist down, he's got that McFarlane groin. The way that Todd's team has designed the articulation to be with the clickety-clacks that hold in place, like that, they do a pretty good job of holding his leg up. He's not super posable, but I don't really remember Doomsday being much of a ballerina, and this is probably more posable than most of the Doomsday figures I own. Perhaps Storm Collectibles is a bit more posable, but that's also a Boku Bucks action figure. We have rotation a little bit. See, that one's really good. Look at that. Damn. Oh, I like that one a lot. Let's get the other one to do that. Okay, and then we have crunch it, knee, crunch it. Oh, why won't it go down? That one goes, that knee goes just fine. Why can't we make the other one do its job? Go home. Go home, hinge. That's your home all the way down to bottom. Ah! Okay, well, I don't want to break it. For some reason, mine won't go any further than that on the other leg. It rotates as well. Now, I do want to point out that it's actually right here that is very loose. Look at that. So I'm going to have to figure out how to tighten that. That is really his only loose joint on this figure. And of course, we have the gigantic hinge for the ankle. And it goes... And of course, it's going to pivot as well. Yeah. So that is the totality of the articulation for Doomsday here. He ain't dancing around like Twinkle Toes anytime soon, or going to be able to reach a Post-it note stuck to his back. However, I still wouldn't want to get into a fist fight with him, and my only defense being crawl through his legs, because I feel like he would just stomp on me. Hello! Anyway, good figure. Now let's look at the next one. Soupy! I don't know about you guys, but I really, really like this figure. Just based on the fact that we got a nice blue, a nice red, and the skin tone is nice and even on this version of Superman. It's a fantastic take on the character. Obviously, as far as head sculpts go, it does employ the previous Hush Jim Lee Superman head sculpt, only where the last one had a ghastly, ghostly, living dead skin tone and heat vision eyes. The new one has actual eyes painted in the eye holes, only his face is all bloody. He does have a little bit of painted on battle damage on his body in 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's really it. And he's got a tattered up cape. It's the same one actually used by Infected Superman, as you can see here. Surprise, I've actually got it on Bizarro though. Another difference is Superman's boots. They've actually got blood on them. I know that it's not brown for dirt, even though, I mean, you would expect that to be brown, right? Well, it's not, because I actually removed all of the battle damage from this Superman's bodysuit, and also the paint from the boots. And wouldn't you know it, it's actually purple. It's purple paint, which tells me that that was blood. He was standing in blood. Why do you have so much blood on his boots? I'll tell you one thing. Seeing this Superman figure makes me really excited for the Hush Superman figure with the regular face. I am really stoked about that one. Anyway, I'm going to skip the articulation for this guy because there's no point. We've already seen this buck so many times, and I'll just go right to my final thoughts. What do I think about this 2-pack? Honestly, I'm in love with it. I really do like this. If you're a Superman fan, don't sleep on this one, because it's gonna sell out fast wherever it shows up. It's an iconic battle pairing two of DC's biggest powerhouses, Superman versus Doomsday, and both figures just look stupidly good. The Superman figure pops, the Doomsday figure looks relentlessly large and destructive, and overall I just think it's a really sound offering from McFarlane Toys. So yeah, those are my thoughts and I'm sticking to them. Hopefully you found this video to be an insightful, useful waste of time for the day, and if you did, well, you know where the like button is. Tell your friends about me, tell all your friends about me, and I will see you with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody. Take care.